university thinks it's special. It's not. Strip away the branding, the overpriced merch, the disgusting college dorms, and what you get is the exact same social ecosystem copy and pasted across every single university or school campus in every country. From a tiny community college to fucking Harvard or Cambridge University, they're all the same. Because this video is not about your school. It's about every school. So the first phenomenon is the nearby rival schools. Every university has one. It's like a school that's 20 minutes away that exists solely to be described as where all of your rejects go. And if you ask anyone from either campus, they'll all tell you the exact same thing about the other school. And they'll say that if you go there, you're less smart than them, your parties are lamer, their degrees are like the discount versions of like your school. And the only reason you went to that other school, which is not your school, even though if you ask that school about your school, they'll say the exact same thing, is because they probably didn't get accepted to your school. But deep down, both schools are functionally identical, and the only difference is which one your tuition check clears out. Any event that offers free pizza or tote bags will summon the entire student campus. Broke students will attend a 4-hour financial literacy seminar just to pocket a free t-shirt. This will happen. Entire clubs survive purely off this behavior. Student government elections are always needlessly competitive. They run like Secret Service operations. Posters, smear campaigns, fake Instagram pages. Every single campus political club thinks they're shaping national policy, but they're mostly just arguing over like bake sale permits. Frat guys will run for office promising better parties, and then the actual activists will lose by like 300 votes. You should probably kiss some ass at the networking events. I'm sorry. I personally didn't do it enough because I was scared, and it really me. I got lucky as hell that I wasn't fully unemployed after I graduated, but don't do that. Just kiss ass. Just kiss ass at the networking events, okay? Just do it. Just fucking trust me, just do it. Seasonal migration patterns at an average university campus. First warm day of spring. Campus lawn looks like a fucking music festival. Finals week, the library transforms into like a refugee camp of sleeping bags and energy drink cans. And then after final weeks, it's a fucking ghost town. There is no one. There is not a single, no breath, no fucking indication there was anyone ever there. You walk through and you feel like it's been the rapture, like the rapture has happened and you're the only one left behind. That's what it feels like. Your friend group will start intermingling dating, and it will be a disaster for everyone. You should only ever date hot strangers off the internet. Do not do this to the friend group. Why would you do this? Speaking of friends, it is true that on the first day, all of the new students will hang out together in one giant group because they're afraid of being alone. It's like a bunch of like prey being afraid to be like the one standoffish loner person and they get fucking like eaten and killed. This is true, but everyone will awkwardly start ignoring each other after cliques and like real friendship groups are formed. Someone will cause the fire alarm to go off at 2 a.m. because they microwave plastic. This will happen to you. It will happen. It is a canon event. It will happen to you. Just remember that these people are also old enough to vote. Your roommate or your flatmate will cry 3 feet away from you while you pretend to scroll on your phone and like you're like Stevie Wonder, like you can't see, you can't hear anything. Like this will happen. And you'll like eat dry cereal out of a mug while they FaceTime their ex. Boundaries when you're living with someone in a university flat it becomes theoretical, okay? Everyone becomes fluent in like the universal language of like, I saw that, but I'm gonna pretend I didn't see or hear that and I will not address it. You will pay $130 for a textbook that you open once, and your professor will upload the full PDF 3 weeks later. You will not get a refund, but you already knew that this was gonna happen to you because every single fucking YouTube video tells you about this, but you'll probably fall for it anyway. It's inevitable, just accept it. Just accept it as like the cost of like entry fee to go into university, okay? You'll try and resell the textbook, but like honestly, what's the fucking point? It's a pain in the ass, okay? And then the new students for like next year will be psyoped into the exact same shit that you were psyoped into, which is that they'll drop an basically identical version of your book next year, but then call it the 12th edition instead of the 11th edition, and then the professor will tell them, don't get the books from last year, okay? Because this one is significantly different because the formatting is different and you'll be confused and you'll be basically. You can't resell that shit. It's kind of like reselling an iPhone because basically they're all like practicably the same. Like you're not gonna recognize the camera difference, okay? You don't recognize that shit. They're basically all the same, but they drop a new one every year and the sheeple will act like it's a new one and you're Campus security is filled with like crazy egomaniacs that treat every suspicious hoodie like a threat to national stability, but they also somehow miss the guy selling out of a hydro flask in the quad. Security will body slam you for like not fucking showing your student ID at the student center. The student center, the public space. So like not the dorms, not the lab, like the building where you like go and buy a muffin and cry between lectures. They will physically block the door like it's a NATO checkpoint. And it doesn't fucking matter that they know your face, or like you're holding 3 textbooks and a laptop and a bag with the school logo and wearing a hoodie that says like the fucking university name on it. It doesn't matter, okay? Like if you don't show your ID, if you don't comply instantly, as far as they're concerned, you're like seconds away from committing a mass stabbing. By the way, because this video is about university, you know what a big part of university is? Studying, or at least pretending to study. Because let's be for real, most of your studying is just watching 2-hour YouTube explainers at like 2x speed while also scrolling Instagram reels and like pretending you're learning, right? You retain none of it. Not the key ideas, not the arguments. It's basically the equivalent of like watching Subway Surfer or Family Guy videos in the background to like a more interesting TikTok on your phone, right? And that's where Y2Doc, the sponsor of today's video, comes in. Y2Doc is a tool that actually extracts useful information from videos. So if you're tired of sitting through hours of YouTube videos only to forget what you've learned, you can make every second count with Y2Doc. Here's what it does. Y2Doc handles long videos of up to 4 hours, and it gives you in-depth notes of 10,000 words per video. And it exports in video, audio, image, PDF, markdown, so you can slot it into whatever productivity system you're following this week. And the most important part is that it's actually readable. Y2Doc provides notes that are clear, structured, and consistent. I personally use it to pull notes from hour-long videos and also creator podcasts, like the kinds where they talk for 90 minutes and they say 3 useful things. And I also use it to skim YouTube industry updates or feature drops, especially the ones with bad audio and like really long 12-minute intros where they thank the sponsor twice. So if you want to study more effectively this year or just fake it better, then check out Y2Doc using the link below. Thank you again to Y2Doc for sponsoring this video. At some point, probably in like a middle semester, you will walk back from the library at 3 a.m. carrying like a microwaved cup noodle, and you'll probably consider going to the student counseling service. You'll consider taking a semester off, and then you're gonna go to sleep and then wake up 5 hours later and go to class like none of this happened. The reality of learning in university is that the majority of university is fucking self-study, for real, okay? It doesn't matter if you're in like a nowhere town community college or fucking Oxford University. The majority of learning in every university is you do the assigned readings, which you will do or struggle to do or like make an attempt at for like the first 3 weeks max of the first semester, and then slowly and or rapidly fall off, and then just fucking pray that you don't get called on to answer a question in class. Every single student lives in a permanent state of academic debt, and they lie to themselves about how it'll get fixed. The fantasy every weekend is the same, which is this weekend, I'm gonna catch up on the reading I didn't do. I'll catch up on the lectures, rewrite my notes, organize my files, meal prep, go to the gym, fix my life. But the reality is, every single fucking weekend, you will oversleep and then panic and then fucking eat microwaved cereal out of a mug, scroll Reddit for 6 hours, and then end the day crying at a 15-minute YouTube video about ambition. Repeat weekly, except it actually just gets worse week to week because the work just piles on itself, right? So it's like truly unfixable. You just have to wait for like the semester or the term break where you will again piss away all of your time either on vacation or in your bed doing exactly the same thing you did during term time. So a large part of the university experience is going into class, but you just have to remember that class is a place not to learn, maybe to learn. Maybe a little bit. But it's mostly a place to be performatively perceived that you're learning, because there's an attendance requirement to this class, and so you show up and you open your laptop and you click between tabs and you pretend to take notes while you're actually online shopping. Speaking of class, we're now going to talk about the discussion participation scam, where participation is 20% of your grade, so you have to speak in the class at least once. But like I know that all of these other motherfuckers that you see in this class are thinking the exact same thought that you are, which is that I have nothing really to contribute, but they know that they have to speak up. So it's like a game show buzzer where you're trying to raise your hand before all these other motherfuckers, but also if you raise your hand too quickly before you know what you're actually gonna say, then it's fucking embarrassing. It's exactly like those people fighting to hit the buzzer on like a game show. Or the person that got picked on for raising their hand before you says what you were planning on saying, and now you have to think of something else to say, but the professor is now like, okay, Crystal, you also had your hand up, all right, what are you gonna say? And then everyone is looking at you expectantly, even though motherfucker, you stole what I was gonna say and now I'm showing my ass, I don't know what to do. And on a related note from that, you have the phenomenon of using your laptop in class as a shield. So as I said, university learning is like 80% pretending your laptop isn't just a very expensive, socially acceptable hiding place, because it lets you, number 1, avoid eye contact, and number 2, look busy. You will notice this phenomenon most sharply when the professor asks the class a question of which you clearly do not know the answer to the question, because refer back to the earlier portion of this video, you've already fallen off the reading material that you were meant to read, so you have absolutely no idea what is going on. And everyone's staring at their screens and pretending to take notes while actually just toggling between empty tabs, and it becomes like a Mexican standoff of shame where everyone is avoiding eye contact and like the first person to accidentally make eye contact with the professor gets picked on. It's painfully awkward. Like, please fucking execute me because I'm melting from secondhand cringe awkward. When two friends say, let's study together, what they mean is I need someone to sit next to me while I disassociate and like slack off for 3 hours and occasionally open Quizlet. You will talk for 45 minutes, scroll for 20, and then study for 6. And then get takeaway as a treat for all of your hard work. You will both leave feeling worse. The one lecture that you skip, so like the only lecture that you skip, it will be the one where the lecture number 1 wasn't recorded, number 2 there were no slides, number 3 the professor just talked the whole time, but number 4 it's also the lecture where they covered 40% of the midterm. You've had 2 full weeks to do the assignment before it's due tonight at midnight, and you start that night, hopefully before 11 p.m, but there's a high chance you won't, and you upload it at 11:59 with a file name that's like final 2, real final, actually the final one, edits done please.pdf. And then after you submit that assignment, you immediately forget every fact you've ever learned. If someone asks you about the topic 1 week later, you will react like a man emerging from a coma. Every group project is exactly the same, which is that it starts with optimism and a color-coded Google Doc, and ends with one girl doing everything, one guy disappearing, and one member still editing 5 minutes after the deadline. You will all get the same grade, you will all fucking hate each other in silence. For this next one, I can only speak about Chinese students, but you can always tell how rich a Chinese student is not by the way they dress, but how they work. If you see them sitting in like the front row of your lectures and they're actually always in the library, then they're just regular Chinese students. They're here to fucking learn, and they have to, because the visa is on the line, the money is on the line, the tuition is on the line. They're here to fucking get to work. Fucking study, get the degree. The other type of international Chinese student is the one that you basically never fucking see because they are basically never in your class. That's because they're probably spending $2,000 on a private karaoke room with champagne and a full Wagyu tasting menu in Soho, and they live in a loft by themselves, and they're just here because their parents needed to move some capital internationally and they didn't want it to look suspicious. And I regret every day not making one of these friends because I once heard from one of them that they go to fucking birthday parties where they literally just give out fucking Rolex watches as party favors. I'm not fucking kidding. I need a rich friend. There will always be 1 3-hour gap between your classes where it's like not enough time to like go home or like do something else, but like too little time for it to actually feel good, where you think you'll be productive, but you won't be. You'll like eat a sandwich and you'll open your laptop and like start a reading, and then you're gonna start scrolling and snacking and fucking pacing around, maybe go to the bookstore and buy a pen. You don't need, it's like a really weird liminal space. It will happen to you. University friendships, like university relationships, and like most relationships in your 20s, they move fast. You're trauma dumping in week 2 and you're sharing therapy stories by week 4. By week 6, you'll realize that you actually have nothing in fucking common except being scared and available at the same time. And then you'll spend the next 2 terms slowly circling and slowly ghosting each other while still liking every Instagram post out of guilt. And finally, if you're watching this going into your first year, just remember that no matter how excited you are or how bright-eyed or bushy-tailed you are, once you're in your final year, everything feels like a joke. Your friends are burnt out, your fucking professors are phoning it in, and you've eaten 600 granola bars this semester and you've not touched a vegetable since October. And even though you're so sure this won't happen to you, at this point, your goal is to leave with a degree and minimal interpersonal damage. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, especially because it's September, so I know you motherfuckers are going back to school. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, or you can check out these videos that YouTube thinks you should watch next.